Hi, and welcome to the Corporate Warriors podcast. My name is Sveta, and in this episode, we're going to talk about Patrick Bet-David's evaluation of employees. And he's evaluating them on 3 factors, which are attitude, know-how, and mindset. So if you want to know how to excel in Patrick Bet-David's world, which is literally the open, free marketplace, then stay tuned. So the first variable that Patrick Bet-David mentions is your attitude. And your attitude is so important. That's what I also mean when I personally talk more about your energy that you bring into a room, how you show up at work. What is it that people think of you even before you open your mouth? Okay. So how are you interacting with other people? Are you smiling at them? Do you say good morning when you meet somebody in the elevator from the office, or even if they're not from the office, you just greet people in general? Do you have a light smile on your face and say good morning? How are you doing to everybody that you're encountering, including some people that might, be the construction workers in your office that are currently there right now? This truly matters, not only because your energy is different, but also because other people will notice that as well. Now, personally, I think you should be authentic in order to create your dream career. So for me, it's more important that you actually feel it, live it, be it, and then, yes, of course, also benefit from it. If other people notice, great. If other people do not notice, it's still amazing because it will elevate your energy and it will create positive karma if you believe in those kinds of things. Do it and say it like you mean it. Be respectful to everyone. Doesn't matter if this person is above you in the hierarchy or below you in the hierarchy. It doesn't matter at all. Be a respectful person. Treat others with the respect that they deserve. Be a good human. Also in the workplace, no matter how competitive it can get. Stay a good human so that you can be proud of yourself. Can you imagine how your attitude changes as well if you feel truly proud of yourself? What is your attitude if things go into a certain direction that is not favorable? How do you respond to that? Do you respond to that with a positive attitude, saying, okay, that's not what I expected, that's not what I planned to happen, but let's do a short brainstorming session and, figure out a way to get there. So those might be things that you can actually change right now. You can strive to be a little bit better each day and have a positive attitude towards no matter what is happening. You can have a great attitude of being an amazing team player. You can have a great attitude as a leader and behave even like a leader, even if you're not already there in the title. You can already adapt the attitude and the qualities of a real good leader way before you have the official title and promotion. And that's actually really important. That's part of the attitude. How do you show up at work? How do you show up if things go great? How do you show up if things do not go well? How do you show up if other people get what you actually wanted to have? What do you do then? Are you constantly making a plan of backstabbing people? That's not a good attitude. So think about what you think about. It truly, truly matters, and show up with the best attitude that you can at your workplace. And your attitude, it's really very much about how you think about the things that you need to do. So let's take networking as an example. You could say, well, networking, it's more like a know-how kind of thing. Do I know how to network? True. But with what attitude do you network? Do you network only for your own sake? Do you only network because you hope you're getting a new job out of that? Or do you network because you actually really want to create a network, right? Is it for you about getting to know more people and then helping each other in whatever way we can? Or are you just there for your own sake? People will notice your attitude if you say it out open or if you don't. They notice your attitude, and based on your attitude, the reactions that you'll get will be very different. So always remember, keep a good attitude at work and see your career unfold. The second variable that Patrick Bet-David is mentioning is knowledge or know-how. So this could be seen as soft skills and hard skills. Let's start with the hard skills. So do you have all the know-how, the technical skills, so to speak, needed to do a great job? There's so many people out there that are trying to fake it. But at some point in your career, you will have to prove yourself, even if it's about, can you even give feedback to your employees because you know what they're talking about? Or if you're in a more project manager or entry kind of position, do you actually know what you're doing? I know that there are a lot of tools out there like ChatGPT and whatever, and do use them. But to some extent, you need to understand what is going on. And with understanding, I don't mean learn by heart what somebody else tells you, but also go behind that. Instead of just taking a certificate on Google, also learn about what is Google's objective, what is their economic objective, so you can learn the skills how to do it, but then also put it into the right perspective. That's really important if you want to go up the corporate ladder, because every business out there, and we many times learn from other businesses to use their tools as our technical skills in our job. But then you also need to see it from the perspective of the other business. Why are they doing what they're doing? And that way evaluate critically. Do I really want to 100% follow the strategy that I learned from the provider, him or herself? Or do I want to know how it works and optimize so that my company, my team can have the biggest success possible? Okay, this is part of the technical know-how. And in terms of technical know-how, there's only so much fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it is great in terms of, for instance, attitude, right? If you don't really feel that way just yet, and just try it out, jump in the pool of cold water. That is totally fine, because then you can have this positive reference experiences, everything good. In terms of technical know-how, learn your stuff. If you need a certificate because you work in an IT security environment, go for it. Do it. You do need it in order to advance. Follow YouTube channels that talk about the topics so you make sure you're always up to date on changes. If you work in a legal department, for instance, that is totally normal. That's what you learn already in school. In other departments, however, that's not always the case. So make sure that you stay on top of things. A great example is you are a salesperson. What should you do as a salesperson? Of course, you need to be on top of new sales strategies, techniques. For instance, the very first time that LinkedIn had the possibility to reach out to people that you're not connected to, this was a huge opportunity for salespeople. Now that everybody's doing it, you need to shift again. I've known salespeople that were reading magazines of buyers. Of why? Because they need to know what the procurement managers learn in terms of strategy for procurement so that they can sell to them better, and vice versa, right? A procurement manager needs to know what sales strategies and techniques are out there so they don't get confused by a challenger method, for example. Okay, so learn your stuff. And this is about the hard skills. Read the papers, go to industry meetings, make sure you stay up to date, be aware of changes, new strategies, new tactics, and include your real life experience. Use your network that you've built up so nice with this great attitude to stay on track and to be one of the first movers. Understand the processes and the systems behind them. Really, really important. And then at the same time, you need to then also, as part of the know-how, know how to talk, how to communicate, how to negotiate, how to market yourself, how to talk about your own achievements. This is also a certain type of know-how that you need to understand. Learn to read people, understand how Machiavellian systems are working, how are company politics working. I know that doesn't sound like a huge amount of fun to many people out there, but take it with the right attitude and it can be fun. Because then you can, just observe a little bit what's going on in your office and then use your knowledge that you've built up for your best advantage and the advantage of your team. Okay, so we have attitude, we have know-how, and now we're coming to the third variable, mindset. And in the mindset, the biggest differentiation that we can take is a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. So what does that mean? A fixed mindset is somebody who thinks they know it all, and they think that the way that things used to be done is just the best way, and we should certainly never adapt to anything new, right? So those are the people that refuse to think about an improvement in process. That are the people that refuse to take on a new perspective because they feel threatened or whatever it is behind that. And how do you face challenges? There are people literally, if a new challenge comes up at their work, they just want to go home. It's like their first internal reaction is like, Jesus Christ, I want to be out of here as quickly as possible. Whereas there's other people that have more of a growth mindset. They're like, oh, what is that? Bring it on. Let's see what we can, how we can turn. Wow, what's that? Bring it on. Let's see how we can turn this crisis around. Like, think about PR managers. Sometimes they do an amazing job. Social media managers sometimes do an amazing job. Those are just the ones where you can really see it very publicly how a company reacts to a potential crisis. Some of them are directly going into the fixed mindset mode, being like, well, even though this and that happened, we were just abiding by the law. And others are, making, I don't know, depending on how harsh it is, first making a joke around it, using it as an opportunity to showcase that things are not going right and how they are actually trying to resolve the issue for their customers. So you can see that very well in marketing just because it's the external communication, but internally in the companies, that's what's happening all the time. If you work at a software company, there's always bugs. There's no software with no bugs. It just doesn't exist. And that's the same for any other kind of company, right? It doesn't matter at all what industry you're in. How do you approach the problems as they show up? Some industries, literally, you cannot work there if you don't have a growth mindset. Others, like insurance, that are a little bit more slower, they're a little bit more, laid back in terms of they cannot make changes as quickly because the whole process is huge behind that. The software is different. It's like a very different field. So depending on where you're at, you will drown if you don't have a growth mindset. And in other companies, you will just be the superstar if you have a growth mindset, because the company is flooded with people that have a fixed mindset. And the mindset is also about, are you playing not to lose or are you playing to win? Right? So a mindset can also be, can you be sometimes critical and a challenger? And can you reflect in a critical way about the things that are going on in your industry, in your company, wherever? So this is really, really important. What's your mindset in terms of what's happening inside the company, in your project, but also to you in your personal life as well as in your professional life? So this is really, really important. And I think it's genius that Patrick Bet-David is not afraid to talk about these things, because those are actually the things. If you've ever led a team, you know that these things are the prerequisite for a player. And if you can combine all three of them, great attitude, the know-how needed, as well as a great growth mindset, it will be easy for you because it's pretty special. Not a lot of people have all of those three. And yes, it is work to get there, especially the knowledge kind of part. But really, no, let's not even say that. All of them can be challenging depending on where you come from. So work on them. There's so many resources out there. I'll do my best to share with you all that I know and all that I can. But go ahead, read those books, listen to the YouTube channels, listen to the podcasts. Do your own work. Observe at work who's getting promoted. How do those three variables show at your workplace? And how can people that have them advance faster and quicker? And I'm sure you will see commonalities. And if you work on those three things, you will definitely have career and life success, I promise. So if this was relevant to you, please make sure to hit the like and the subscribe button. And I'm happy to see you again next time. Bye.